Hello, guys. How is everyone doing?
Hello, cool. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much for joining in time. We will be starting in few seconds. Thank you very much.
While we're waiting, let's talk. How's your speaking, guys? Faiza, could you share?
Hello.
Hello. Ngaziza, let's talk a little bit. How's your speaking yesterday?
It was great. We took more information, yes.
Perfect. Perfect. What about me? It was unexpected, interesting, and my feelings like I need to learn too much. So
Yes, me too.
Ngaziza, what about you? How's your speaking yesterday? Don't be shy. Every of us speak not well yet. However, we have a time. Have you speak yesterday? Okay.
All right. Anyways, yeah, I appreciate Dinara helping me out to fill in this weird empty time. But anyways, what's really good about these empty moments is that you get to connect. I think we need to have some sort of a session without me. You need some space to connect. Oh yeah, we'll think about that. Tonight, all of us have gathered here to practice listening. So first things first, how many of you are familiar with the format of IELTS listening? Can you tell me? I mean, how long is the listening section usually?
40 minutes.
All right, great. How many questions are there?
40 questions.
40 questions. And how many sections?
4 sections.
I guess 3.
Okay, some people say 3. Does everyone agree?
Or 4.
Yes,
4. So, yeah, it's 4. It's 4 sections. Does the difficulty vary by section?
Yes.
How? Which section is the easiest?
The first one must be easiest.
Okay. And which section is the hardest usually?
Fourth,
last
maybe.
one.
Second and third.
Okay, last one is usually the most difficult, right? First one is the easiest. What's the format of each section? So what is section 1 about?
It's a dialogue.
It is a conversation between two people.
Okay, it's a conversation between people. Usually, what kind of information is looked for in that section?
Something like telephone number, name of hotel, and so on.
Good job. Good job. We're usually looking for facts, right? Very specific things like phone numbers, names, address. And it's usually a conversation between an employee of a certain organization, like a restaurant or a hotel, or let's say a tour agency, whatever. And and someone who wants to book, let's say, a room in a hotel, a customer. Cool. What is section 2 about? Section 2?
As I remember, it is about, it can be about map and something with places, stores, north, west, east, like that. We need
Okay,
to.
so, all right. Does everyone agree? Does everyone agree? So is that what we have in section 2?
No,
I have found some information.
So usually in section 2,
is monologue.
it's a
With
monologue.
key details, explanation, giving directions to the somewhere.
All right, good job, Farisa. So you noted one important aspect of section 2 is that it is usually a monologue by a person. It could be all kinds of people, but very often you would see a tour guide, like explaining something, giving a lecture about a museum, right? Or explaining directions. Section 2, although, I mean, comparatively, it should be easier one. I would say section 2 is tricky. You may lose a couple of points if you're not very attentive in section 2. What about section 3? What would you say about that? What do you have in section 3? Any ideas? Anyone else? Come on, guys. Chop chop. We have so many people in here, but only a few answers.
It's also
Perhaps
conversation, but
yeah. So you were saying it's also conversation and?
yeah, it's also conversation, but it's not between two. It's up to two, more than two people.
Okay, it's usually about 3 people discussing something. One unique thing about section 3 is that usually it is a conversation in an academic context. Please remember that IELTS is an academic exam. There are 2 formats of IELTS, right? Which ones do you know?
Yes, general and academic.
Okay, yeah, there is general IELTS, there is academic IELTS, right? And the thing is, with academic IELTS, you are being trained, you are being prepared to enter the university, the academic field. And that's why they want you to go through situations which happen a lot of times in an academic context, like a discussion about a certain assignment between a professor and a couple of students, right? Cool, awesome. And what about section 3? Section 3? Oh, section 4? I mean, I'm sorry, I'm confusing you. Yeah, all of you got confused. Okay, section, 4. What's in there?
It's also monologue, like academic. It's more difficult. It's scientific text. Yeah, which used in universities.
Okay, does everyone agree?
It is like a lecture, yes?
Exactly, it's a university lecture, essentially. You know what's interesting? Many people find section 4 quite difficult. I honestly don't. I think, I mean, section 4, what's unique about section 4 is that you have no time between questions. So in earlier sections, you may have some time, like it could be split by 5 questions, 5 questions here, 5 questions there. But in section 4, you need to answer all questions straight away, right? Some people find it confusing, but honestly, if you get used to the flow of that lecture, I mean, and if you read those questions in advance really, really carefully, it will be easy for you. So let me ask you, which section do you find the hardest personally? I mean, if you've taken any IELTS tests before.
Exactly 4.
4th one. Okay. Today we're going to see, how we will perform together. Okay, let me share my screen with you in a second. While we were talking, I've been preparing a table. So let me show you my screen. Even when the sun comes morning. Okay, I'm going. Cool. So time to share my screen. You can see my screen, right?
Yes.
Fantastic. As you can see, I will be splitting. Okay, again, I am new to Max, so I find it a little confusing, but I hope I'll get used. Let's do it this way. Okay, now it's comfortable. Let's put it this way too. We need to shrink this window as well. There we go. So there are two parts of my screen. You can still see me, right? Okay. Could you see me last time when we were doing the reading exam? I mean, while we were on it?
Yes.
I mean, I'm asking because when I saw the recording, it only showed the text. It didn't show me. It had my voice, but it didn't show my face. And I thought maybe you couldn't see that too. But yeah, I'm glad you could. All right, so I haven't done this test either, so we're going to see how it goes. I prefer YouTube because it's quite convenient. They usually have the answers in the end. I hope this one has answers too. In case it doesn't, we're going to search it up, no problem. This video's description conveniently provides us with the explanation of scores, so we can immediately find out what score did we get from this test. Okay, 4 sections. I mean, usually the test lasts 40 minutes, but our session is designed to be a bit longer because I will be commenting. Okay, so make sure you'll be making notes. If you have any questions, interrupt. Okay, just ask them immediately because chances are you will forget. Okay, Cambridge IELTS 4. It's actually 13, test 4. Cool, let's go. I hope all of you are ready.
You will hear a number of different
could you hear the recording? Did you hear it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. Let's do it.
recordings, and you will have to answer questions on what you hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions, and you will have a chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only. The test is in 4 sections. At the end of the test, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to an answer sheet. Now turn to section 1.
I'm getting nervous. Okay. So, okay, a quick
Section 1.
A quick pause. One thing is that before IELTS, all of you must get used to these typical phrases. So they should mean nothing for you because all of them are the same. Section 1. In this section, you will hear a recording of 2 people. I mean, that shouldn't be important for you. When those words are being pronounced, what you should be doing is you should be looking at these questions, okay? You should be analyzing them. Even seconds matter here. That's why you should be spending all the time reading questions here. First thing your attention goes to is, these instructions. They are so important. They're so important. I cannot overemphasize how important they are because, I mean, some people ignore them and they lose points. That's so sad. So here it says 1 word and or a number for each answer. Again, it could be 1 word and a number, or it could be, 1 number. So again, we'll have to pay attention. So let's go.
Section 1. You will hear a phone conversation between Alex, an employee at a company called JPNW, and Martha, who wants to work as a trainee at the company. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 7.
Okay, so what's happening in my head right now is I am trying to predict what kind of answers I am going to hear. And that skill is very helpful. Look, at first, Alex did his training in the something department. 100% this is going to be a noun with a gerund, probably marketing department, financial department, HR department. We don't know, but we should be ready for this. Alex didn't have a qualification from school in, I'm not sure what it's going to be, but let's see. Let's see. It could be a year. It could, I'm not sure it's a year, but let's see. Alex thinks he should have done the diploma in adjective, 100% adjective. You see skills, we're looking for an adjective like vocational skills in, I don't know, soft skills. We don't know. Age of other trainees, the youngest was, age likely, maybe 25. Lots of opportunities. Trainees receive the same amount of, look, we're not sure what it could be. It's a noun. It could be like same amount of compensation, maybe same amount of vacation, anything that looks like a noun. Training experience. Trainees go to 1 day per month. So it could be, again, vacation, leave, but it lacks an article. So also look for the grammar. Make sure you don't add an extra article here, okay? It's only one word. Article A is a word. So an apple, it's 2 words, okay? The company is in a convenient, something noun, is in a convenient place, could be. Okay, let's find out.
You will see that there is an example that has been done for you. On this occasion only, the conversation relating to this will be played first.
Hi, Alex. It's Martha Kynes here. James White gave me your number. I hope you don't mind me calling you.
Of course not. How are you, Martha?
Good, thanks. I'm ringing because I need a bit of advice.
Oh, yeah, what about?
The training you did at JPNW a few years ago, I'm applying for the same thing.
Oh, right, yes. I did mine in 2014. Best thing I ever did. I'm still working there.
Alex did his training in 2014. So 2014 has been written in the space. Now we shall begin.
Okay, before we begin, one more thing that I'd like to tell you is, look at this at first. Remember, IELTS is an exam that will try to trick you, you know? They would say, Alex would say like, oh, I've done an internship in the financial department, and don't rush to write financial, because the next thing Alex might say is, but financial wasn't the one I interned at first. The first one was actually marketing department. So be ready for tricks like that. Be ready for plot twists, okay? I'm saying this because I see these 2 words at first, and it's already ringing a bell. So I'm already alarmed by this.
You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 7.
Hi, Alex. It's Martha Kynes here. James White gave me your number. I hope you don't mind me calling you.
Of course not. How are you, Martha?
Good, thanks. I'm ringing because I need a bit of advice.
Oh, yeah, what about?
The training you did at JPNW a few years ago, I'm applying for the same thing.
Oh, right, yes. I did mine in 2014. Best thing I ever did. I'm still working there.
Really? What are you doing?
Well, now I work in the customer services department, but I did my initial training in finance. I stayed there for the first 2 years and then moved to where I am now.
That's the same department I'm applying for. Did you enjoy it?
I was pretty nervous to begin with. I didn't do well in my exams at school, and I was really worried because I failed maths. but it didn't actually matter because I did lots of courses on the job.
Did you get a diploma at the end of your trainee period? I'm hoping to do the one in business skills.
Yes, that sounds good. I took the one on IT skills, but I wish I'd done that one instead.
Okay, that's good to know. What about the other trainees? How did you get on with them?
There were about 20 of us who started at the same time, and we were all around the same age. I was 18, and there was only one person younger than me who was 17. The rest were between 18 and 20. I made some good friends.
I've heard lots of good things about the training at JPNW. It seems like there are a lot of opportunities there.
Yeah, definitely. Because of its size, you can work in loads of different areas within the organisation.
What about pay? I know you get a lower minimum wage than regular employees.
That's right, which isn't great, but you get the same number of days holiday as everyone else, and the pay goes up massively if they offer you a job at the end of the training period.
Yeah, but I'm not doing it for the money. It's the experience I think will be really useful. Everyone says by the end of the year, you gain so much confidence.
You're right, that's the most useful part about it. There's a lot of variety too. You're given lots of different things to do. I enjoyed it all. I didn't even mind the studying.
Do you have to spend any time in college?
Yes, one day each month. So you get lots of support from both your tutor and your manager.
That's good. And the company is easy to get to, isn't it?
Yes, it's very close to the train station, so the location's a real advantage.
Before you hear the rest of the film,
Okay, that was relatively easy, and yeah, at the same time, I mean, yeah, also I felt some pressure. Before we move to the next section, does anybody have questions here? Do you have questions about the answers I put in here? Let's see. Okay, I'm pretty confident. The only comment I have is look at the holidays, how I chose holiday, the same amount of holidays. If you write the same amount of holiday, that would be a mistake because again, we're talking about the amount of, it should be in plural form here. You cannot say the same amount of holiday, it has to be holidays. And yeah, they said holidays as well. Okay, if no questions, if everyone is ready to move on, let's move on.
I have found only 3 answers. It was 3rd, 4th, and 7th. And I missed the 1st and 2nd. Because I was waiting for when it will pronounce, but I missed it, yes. I only found 3rd question.
Yeah,
oh, 3rd, 4th, and 7th.
Okay, you got to be careful. All right, moving on.
Some time to look at questions 8 to 10.
Okay, but I'm scrolling back. Okay, I'm scrolling back to see if there is a separate instruction, but it looks like it's still one word and or a number. Okay, let's go. Okay, let me ask you quickly. What do you think? What kind of words we expect here? Here, 8. Noun, adjective, verb.
Noun.
Of course, noun.
Verb.
I mean,
verb.
It's good to have some kind of association. Don't wear tie, don't wear pants, I don't know, don't wear shirt, don't wear a jacket. So have those associations. Don't be what? What do you think it's?
Don't be late.
Yeah, let's expect that. But yeah, okay. Make sure you hear noun, adjective, verb.
Make sure. Adjective, maybe.
Adjective.
Oh, verb. I'm sorry.
It's a verb. I think it could be something like make sure you prepare. All right. So guessing is a good skill. It shouldn't limit you, but it should direct you. You see, you have to think of it that way. Let's go.
Now listen and answer questions 8 to 10.
Have you got a date for your interview yet?
Yes, it's on the 23rd of this month.
So long as you're well prepared, there's nothing to worry about. Everyone's very friendly.
I am not sure what I should wear. What do you think?
Nothing too casual, like jeans, for example. If you've got a nice jacket, wear that with a skirt or trousers.
Okay, thanks. Any other tips?
Well, I know it's really obvious, but arrive in plenty of time. They hate people who are late. So make sure you know exactly where you have to get to. And one other useful piece of advice my manager told me before I had the interview for this job is to smile, even if you feel terrified. It makes people respond better to you.
I'll have to practice doing that in the mirror.
Yeah, well, good luck. Let me know if you need any more information.
Thanks very much.
Okay. So
That's it.
this one was pretty easy. One little comment. Some of you might have been tempted to write "don't wear casual" here, but grammar-wise, it's wrong. I mean, you can't say "don't wear casual." You have to say
Don't wear jeans.
Yeah. I mean, I wrote jeans, but I'm just saying that some of you might have been tempted to write casual, and writing casual here would be wrong because you would have to say don't wear casual clothes. Okay, so you have to write don't wear jeans. So again, I mean, I know some of you get the answer. I'm saying it in case some of you didn't. Okay, moving on. So let me grab some water, please. I'll be back. Okay, and we're ready.
This is the end of section 1. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Okay, this is very important. What you should be doing during that half a minute. I highly recommend you to go through your answers again, just to see if you're mistaken. Anything can happen, anything, right? So let's go back and check it quickly. Alex in the finance department. Okay, it looks good. If you are super confident in your answers, you can check your answers quickly, and you can spend the remaining like 10 to 15 seconds reading the answers, the questions for the next section. I mean, I sometimes do that too.
Nothing to worry about. But I'm terrified.
Thanks.
Your answer.
Okay.
Now turn to section 2.
So a quick comment, multiple choice questions are one of the hardest. Everyone hates them. I don't like them very much too. You have to read quickly, very quickly. And to be honest, I wish I could write on the screen, but no, I can't. I mean, can I use the Zoom's? Oh, I think I can use the Zoom's comment tools. Let me see. Just one sec. Okay, I chose this. Can you see what I draw here? Do you see this red line?
Yes.
Yeah, looks like you can. Cool. I will, then I'll be drawing. I'll be underlining some words here, okay? Okay, hold on. Okay. So again.
Section 2. You will hear a woman called Annie, who works at the Snow Centre in New Zealand, welcoming a group of visitors to the centre. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 16. Now listen carefully and answer.
Well, if you're feeling it wasn't enough, there wasn't enough time to read all of this, it's the same for me. I mean, it wasn't enough for me to go through that. You just have to improvise, you know? And yeah, I didn't even have time to underline the words for you because, yeah, it was a lot of text. So let's just see how well we can just catch it on the go, okay?
Questions 11 to 16.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Snow Centre. My name's Annie. I hope you enjoyed the bus trip from the airport. We've certainly got plenty of snow today. Well, you've come to New Zealand's premier snow and ski centre, and we've a whole load of activities for you during your week here. Most visitors come here for the cross-country skiing, where you're on fairly flat ground for most of the time, rather than going down steep mountainsides. There are marked trails, but you can also leave these and go off on your own, and that's an experience not to be missed. You can go at your own speed. It's great aerobic exercise if you really push yourself. Or if you prefer, you can just glide gently along and enjoy the beautiful scenery. This afternoon, you'll be going on a dog sled trip. You may have seen our dogs on TV recently, racing in the Winter Sled Festival. If you want, you can have your own team for the afternoon and learn how to drive them, following behind our leader on the trail. Or if you prefer, you can just sit back in the sled and enjoy the ride as a passenger. At the weekend, we have the team relay event, and you're all welcome to join in. We have a local school coming along, and a lot of the teachers are taking part too. Participation rather than winning is the main focus, and there's a medal for everyone who takes part. Participants are in teams of 2 to 4, and each team must complete 4 laps of the course. For your final expedition, you'll head off to Mount Frenna, wearing a pair of special snowshoes, which allow you to walk on top of the snow. This is an area where miners once searched for gold, though there are very few traces of their work left now. When the snow melts in summer, the mountain slopes are carpeted in flowers and plants. It's a long ascent, though not too steep, and walkers generally take a couple of days to get to the summit and return. You'll spend the night in our hut halfway up the mountain. That's included in your package for the stay. It's got cooking facilities, firewood, and water for drinking. For washing, we recommend you use melted snow, though, to conserve supplies. We can take your luggage up on our snowmobile for you for just $10 a person. The hut has cooking facilities, so you can make a hot meal in the evening and morning, but you need to take your own food. The weather on Mount Frenna can be very stormy. In that case, stay in the hut. Generally, the storms don't last long. Don't stress about getting back here to the centre in time to catch the airport bus. They'll probably not be running anyway. We do have an emergency locator beacon in the hut, but only use that if it's a real emergency, like if someone's ill or injured.
Before you hear the rest of the talk,
Right, what are your feelings? How was this section for you? Easy? No? Okay.
No.
Again, I thought it was going to be very stressful, but it wasn't too stressful because they had some time, some space between questions. For example, if you catch the answer early, she would still be speaking, but she hasn't gotten to the next question yet, and you can use that time to read the options, which is very convenient. Again, there were a few moments, few tricky moments when they would name some things and they would mislead you to a wrong answer. For example, question 14, they mentioned the mine, right? They said that, oh, there were old mines, but they also said that, but the traces to those mines have been lost. So, I mean, you can't visit an old mine if the traces are lost, right? So the correct answer is another one. So, yeah, and okay, let's see what, and in this question 16, same thing. They mentioned the emergency locator beacon, but they said that they said something like, but you shouldn't use it. So again, be ready for deceit. Be ready to be misled by IELTS, okay? And you shouldn't be misled.
You have some time to look at questions 17 to 20. Now listen.
Okay, before we proceed, one important thing is you should never expect to hear the same words. 100% it's going to be all synonyms. Okay, so again, you should really try to understand the meaning of this one. Don't hope that you will hear the word stop and like, oh cool, stop is Highland. No. My dear friends, it's going to be more difficult than that. Yeah, what you had to be doing during this 30 seconds is you had to be paying a lot of attention. And yeah, looking for synonyms. Okay, all right.
And answer questions 17 to 20.
Now, let me tell you something about the different ski trails you can follow during your stay here. Highland Trail's directly accessible from where we are now. This trail's been designed to give first-timers an experience they'll enjoy regardless of their age or skill. But it's also ideal for experts to practice their technique. Then there's Pine Trail. If you're nervous about skiing, leave this one to the experts. You follow a steep valley looking right down on the river below. Scary. But if you fully mastered the techniques needed for hills, it's great fun. Stony Trail's a good choice once you've got a general idea of the basics. There are 1 or 2 tricky sections, but nothing too challenging. There's a shelter halfway where you can sit and take a break and enjoy the afternoon sunshine. And finally, Losers Trail. This starts off following a gentle river valley, but the last part is quite exposed, so the snow conditions can be challenging. If it's snowing or windy, check with us before you set out to make sure the trail's open that day. Right, so now if you'd like to follow me, we'll get started.
That is the end of section.
By the way, that was a New Zealandish accent. So if you see, I'm not sure. So yeah, people from New Zealand have this habit of, for example, instead of saying egg, they say eek. And yeah, instead of hearing sound, you would hear e sound. But yeah, generally it's very similar to British.
2. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Oh, that I will do. Okay.
Before you sewing a gentle excessive.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I will check my answers. Okay. I'm really not sure about the 12 one, but okay, I'll just leave it as a B. Okay, I'm not sure. Also not sure about 14, but yeah, I'll leave it as. I think I'm gonna change my 14. I just have this strange feeling that I got it wrong. Okay. Not so sure about my 18 one, but let's see. Okay, I'm ready to move on. Hope you are too.
Now, let me tell you something about the different ski trails experienced at your Nürksen note.
Oops.
Now turn to section 3.
Oh, we are now in trouble. we're in a lot of trouble. So again, multiple choice questions, but this time it's gonna be a bit more difficult, and you see the answers are a bit longer. So again, be very attentive. Okay, let's see how it goes.
Now turn to section 3. Section 3.
Okay, so here I think I need to do some teaching. Pay attention to the words that I would underline. Look, before this project. Again, if they have this word like before, it means that he would comment on his attitude after and before. So you should choose the right one. Okay, so I would highlight the word before. Complicated. Again, same thing before doing this project. It means that she might tell you her opinion before and after. And when you hear both, you need to choose the right one. When discussing, Jack agrees with Alice that, okay, we need to read this. Jack prefers the daily value system to other labeling system because what surprised both students about one flavor crisps? What do the students think about research into the impact of nutritional food labeling? Okay, looks like, except for the words before, yeah, there's nothing here I need to teach you, but yeah, again, pay attention. Let's read it together again.
We'll now turn to section 3. Section 3. You will hear two students called Jack and Alice discussing food labels that give information on the nutritional value of foods. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 26. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 26.
I've still got loads to do for our report on nutritional food labels.
Me too. What did you learn from doing the project about your own shopping habits?
Well, I've always had to check labels for traces of peanuts in everything I eat because of my allergy. But beyond that, I've never really been concerned enough to check how healthy a product is.
This project has actually taught me to read the labels much more carefully. I tended to believe claims on packaging like low in fat, but I now realize that the healthy yogurt I've bought for years is full of sugar and that it's actually quite high in calories.
Ready meals are the worst. Comparing the labels on supermarket pizzas was a real eye-opener. Did you have any idea how many calories they contain? I was amazed.
Yes, because unless you read the label really carefully, you wouldn't know that the nutritional values given are for half a pizza.
When most people eat the whole pizza. Not exactly transparent, is it?
Not at all. But I expect it won't stop you from buying pizza.
Probably not, no. I thought comparing the different labeling systems used by food manufacturers was interesting. I think the kind of labeling system used makes a big difference.
Which one did you prefer?
I like the traditional daily value system best, the one which tells you what proportion of your required daily intake of each ingredient the product contains. I'm not sure it's the easiest for people to use, but at least you get the full story. I like to know all the ingredients in a product, not just how much fat, salt, and sugar they contain.
But it's good supermarkets have been making an effort to provide reliable information for customers.
Yes, there just needs to be more consistency between labeling systems used by different supermarkets in terms of portion sizes, etc.
The labels on the different brands of chicken flavor crisps were quite revealing too, weren't they?
Yeah. I don't understand how they can get away with calling them chicken flavor when they only contain artificial additives.
I know. I'd at least have expected them to contain a small percentage of real chicken.
Absolutely.
I think having nutritional food labeling has been a good idea, don't you? I think it will change people's behavior and stop mothers in particular buying the wrong things.
But didn't that study kind of prove the opposite? People didn't necessarily stop buying unhealthy products.
They only said that might be the case. Those findings weren't that conclusive, and it was quite a small-scale study. I think more research has to be done.
Yes, I think you're probably right.
Before you hear the rest.
Okay, so while all of you are here, guys, can I ask you something? For our future sessions, especially, actually for all of them, please make sure that you join in time, because right now, like I had a student join in the middle of the listening test, and that was so distractive. I mean, imagine you would have to respond to a message during your IELTS test, right? So, I mean, I cannot, be good at answering and also accept students coming in. So just please make sure that you come on time. So when we say that we start at 7, make sure all of you show up at 7. Don't join the meeting at 7:15 because you might be distracting me from doing the test, which will hurt other participants because they're here to see. Overall, what are your feelings about the test? I mean, about this section? Is it good? Was it easy? Was it easier than the second one? My honest feelings with you guys is I think it was easier than the second one. Surprisingly, I mean, it was supposed to be harder than the first one, right? But yeah, it turned out to be pretty easy and straightforward. I had enough time to read between sections. What about you guys? Would you agree? Was it the same for you? Okay, awesome, fantastic.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
British accent. Yes. This is a British accent, yes?
Yeah, I think, yeah, it was definitely a British accent, yeah, but okay, most of the time you'll hear British accent here. American, rarely, very rarely. Okay, we're moving on to section 4, my favorite one. Oh, but before we get there, we have a couple of more questions.
Rest of the discussion, you have some time to look at questions 27 to 30.
Ooh, this one isn't easy. So, excuse me, I will remove this to avoid distraction. Okay. Okay, there we go.
See. Now listen and answer questions 27 to 30.
What do you think of the traffic light system?
I think supermarkets like the idea of having a color-coded system, red, orange, or green, for levels of fat, sugar, and salt in a product.
But it's not been adopted universally, and not on all products. Why do you suppose that is?
Pressure from the food manufacturers. Hardly surprising that some of them are opposed to flagging up how unhealthy their products are.
I'd have thought it would have been compulsory. It seems ridiculous it isn't.
I know. And what I couldn't get over is the fact that it was brought in without enough consultation. A lot of experts had deep reservations about it.
That is a bit weird. I suppose there's an argument for doing the research now when consumers are familiar with this system.
Yeah, maybe.
The participants in the survey were quite positive about the traffic light system.
But I don't think they targeted the right people. They should have focused on people with low literacy levels, because these labels are designed to be accessible to them.
Yeah, but it's good to get feedback from all socioeconomic groups, and there wasn't much variation in their responses.
No, but if they hadn't interviewed participants face to face, they could have used a much bigger sample size. I wonder why they chose that method.
Dunno. How were they selected? Did they volunteer or were they approached?
I think they volunteered. The thing that wasn't stated was how often they bought packaged food. All we know is how frequently they used the supermarket.
That is the end of section 3.
Okay.
You now have half a minute to check your answers.
So what's interesting here is I quickly got B and C, but then, I got a little distracted. That happens. I mean, look at me. I admit the fact that I got distracted. That can happen to you in the real IELTS exam too. I got a little distracted for like maybe 5 to 7 seconds, and I was lost, and I had to quickly go back here to understand what's going on. And I put the answer C for the next one. I definitely heard E, but for the rest, I had to use the negative selection. So I had to cancel some options. Definitely, it wasn't A, because they said they should have had low literacy levels, but they didn't. It's definitely not D, because the guy said that they were not from all socioeconomic groups. Also, the lady said that, we don't know if they're regular consumers of packaged food. The only thing we know is how often, the only thing we know is that they frequently visited supermarkets. So the only option which was left for me was C. Let's see if my approach was correct. I hope it is. Okay. Any questions so far? No questions? Okay, we're moving on. Was it paused? No.
Now turn to section 4.
Oh, my favorite one. Okay, first thing first, you pay attention to the instruction, right? It says one word only. For this one, I'm going to expand it, okay, because it has many questions, and let me change the quality. I think we can move it. Oh, doesn't look like 720p. Okay, let's listen to it for a while.
Section 4. You will hear part of a presentation by a history student about the history of coffee. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen carefully and answer question.
Okay, so same thing. What answers do you think we should expect? So again, 31. The ruler ordered the What? Noun, adjective, verb? The what?
The noun.
Yeah,
Noun.
it's obviously a noun, right? I think it could be the demolition, like of every coffee house, some kind of a bad king. He's like, I hate coffee houses. It could be demolition, but let's see. Maybe I'm wrong. Coffee shops were compared to noun, adjective, verb?
Noun.
Noun,
Verb.
right? They were compared to something. It's one noun. They played an important part in social and noun, adjective, verb?
Adjective.
Adjective, right? Can you guess what kind of adjective it could be?
Social, psychological, mental, maybe. I don't know.
I don't think it's mental. I don't think it's psychological. Usually when you see the word social, it either comes together with political or it could be economical. Let's see. It could be political or economic. Types of coffee often named according to the what? A noun, adjective, verb?
Noun.
Noun.
Can you guess?
Noun.
Can you guess? Can you guess? Like what noun is here? According to the look, they
I
came
guess
from.
it's
Okay, or
name of
city?
place.
Yeah, it could be according to the places, or it could be according to the countries, because you see Brazil and Caribbean. It could be regions too. Let's see. In Brazil and the Caribbean, most cultivation depended on what? Noun, adjective, verb?
Noun.
No.
Yeah, it's going to be a noun, right? Depended on maybe climate, maybe weather, temperature. In Java, coffee was used as a form of noun, adjective, verb?
Noun.
Noun, of course, noun. Coffee became almost as important as noun, adjective, verb?
Noun.
Noun.
Noun, of course. The move towards the consumption of noun, adjective, verb?
Noun.
Yeah, 100%. Can you guess? Any guesses? Consumption of what? I think
Maybe.
what?
Low
Coffee.
consumption of in Britain.
No, consumption of what? What noun? Can you guess what noun it is?
Perhaps coffee.
Yeah, I have a temptation to
Maybe
say
blue.
coffee too, but I think it would be too easy. It would be too easy. It's something else. It's something else. Prices dropped because of improvements in noun, adjective, verb. Come on. Noun, adjective, verb.
Noun.
Okay, can you guess? I think I know the answer. What about you? Improvements in what?
In one sphere.
Maybe quality, no?
No, it could be quality, but I think it's technology. Let's see. Industrial workers found coffee helped them to work at noun, adjective, verb. Come on. Noun, adjective, verb.
Noun at night. No?
It could be night. Yeah, sure. Why not? Let's see. Okay, we are starting. For this one, I am going to expand my screen even further so that all of us can see answers. Okay, we're ready.
31 to 40.
In my presentation, I'm going to talk about coffee and its importance both in economic and social terms. We think it was first drunk in the Arab world, but there's hardly any documentary evidence of it before the 1500s. Although, of course, that doesn't mean that people didn't know about it before then. However, there is evidence that coffee was originally gathered from bushes growing wild in Ethiopia, in the northeast of Africa. In the early 16th century, it was being bought by traders, and gradually its use as a drink spread throughout the Middle East. It's also known that in 1522, in the Turkish city of Constantinople, which was the center of the Ottoman Empire, the court physician approved its use as a medicine. By the mid-1500s, coffee bushes were being cultivated in the Yemen, and for the next 100 years, this region produced most of the coffee drunk in Africa and the Arab world. What's particularly interesting about coffee is its effect on social life. It was rarely drunk at home, but instead, people went to coffee houses to drink it. These people, usually men, would meet to drink coffee and chat about issues of the day. But at the time, this chance to share ideas and opinions was seen as something that was potentially dangerous. And in 1623, the ruler of Constantinople demanded the destruction of all the coffee houses in the city. Although after his death, many new ones opened and coffee consumption continued. In the 17th century, coffee drinking spread to Europe. And here too, coffee shops became places where ordinary people, nearly always men, could meet to exchange ideas. Because of this, some people said that these places performed a similar function to universities. The opportunity they provided for people to meet together outside their own homes and to discuss the topics of the day had an enormous impact on social life, and many social movements and political developments had their origins in coffeehouse discussions. In the late 1600s, the Yemeni monopoly on coffee production broke down, and coffee production started to spread around the world, helped by European colonization. Europeans set up coffee plantations in Indonesia and the Caribbean, and production of coffee in the colonies skyrocketed. Different types of coffee were produced in different areas, and it's interesting that the names given to these different types, like mocha or Java coffee, were often taken from the port they were shipped to Europe from. If you look at the labor system in the different colonies, there were some significant differences. In Brazil and the various Caribbean colonies, coffee was grown in huge plantations, and the workers there were almost all slaves. But this wasn't the same in all colonies. For example, in Java, which had been colonized by the Dutch, the peasants grew coffee and passed a proportion of this on to the Dutch, so it was used as a means of taxation. But whatever system was used, under the European powers of the 18th century, coffee production was very closely linked to colonization. Coffee was grown in ever-increasing quantities to satisfy the growing demand from Europe, and it became nearly as important as sugar production, which was grown under very similar conditions. However, coffee prices were not yet low enough for people to drink it regularly at home, so most coffee consumption still took place in public coffee houses, and it still remained something of a luxury item. In Britain, however, a new drink was introduced from China and started to become popular, gradually taking over from coffee, although at first it was so expensive that only the upper classes could afford it. This was tea, and by the late 1700s, it was being widely drunk. However, when the USA gained independence from Britain in 1776, they identified this drink with Britain, and coffee remained the preferred drink in the USA, as it still is today. So, by the early 19th century, coffee was already being widely produced and consumed. But during this century, production boomed and coffee prices started to fall. This was partly because new types of transportation had been developed, which were cheaper and more efficient. So now, working people could afford to buy coffee. It wasn't just a drink for the middle classes. And this was at a time when large parts of Europe were starting to work in industries. And sometimes this meant their work didn't stop when it got dark. They might have to continue throughout the night. So the use of coffee as a stimulant became important. It wasn't just a drink people drank in the morning for breakfast. There were also changes in cultivation.
That is the...
All right, all right. So what are your feelings overall? How do you feel about this section? Is it easy, difficult?
For me, it's again just a few of unfamiliar words with what I have trouble. So
All right, it was easy for Aybek and yeah, not too difficult for Dinara. Happy to know this. Honestly, again, yeah, I don't understand people who say section 4. And remember, Dinara, in the beginning of our live practice, you said that section 4 was the most difficult, and it turned out to be not so difficult. I think the reason why it wasn't so difficult is because we've done some preparation. We were trying to expect what kind of words we're going to see. 31, I almost got it right. I'm surprised. So again, I think it just the form of the sentence. I think it looked like demolition, destruction, universities. I didn't guess. Social and political. Again, told you. I wanted to stop the video and say, huh, you saw? And okay, port. This one I didn't guess. 35, I think I will keep it slaves. Most cultivation depended on slaves. Taxation, sugar, tea, transportation, night. Okay, and yeah, number 40. Well done, Dinara. She guessed it absolutely correctly. It's night. Okay, shall we check our answers again? Okay, it is time. Let's go. Okay.
The end of section 4. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Okay.
Okay,
there we go. Here are the correct answers. I hate these. Does anyone here know how to remove them? I mean, I guess I have to. I don't know how to remove these YouTube cards. Jeez.
10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet.
Oh my God. So, I mean, out of 15 people here, does anyone know how to remove the YouTube cards here so that all of us can see? No? No one knows, I guess. If you don't know, can you say no? Can you text no?
No.
Okay. Again, guys, you don't see that. You only see Magjan speaking all the time, but what I have on my side is, yeah, I feel weird when I'm talking to myself and no one like responds. The way I see it is, okay, so if you will keep responding and keep our live chat active, I would appreciate, I would thank you, okay? So, all right, damn. I can't see. Should I click this? Go back, maybe.
4. You will hear a number of different recordings.
Keeps showing. Oh, Jesus Christ, I hate you. Okay, let me search it up. IELTS 13, listening, test 4, answers. Okay, good. Oh, there we go. Very convenient. Okay, finance, correct. Maths, correct. Business, correct. 17, correct. Did someone yawn? Like,
yes, sorry, it's me because I was incorrect here. Sorry.
Okay, it's all right. Holidays. Okay, good. Oh, I informed you to write holidays, but it also says holidays accepted. But anyways, our answer is correct. College, correct. Location, correct. Jeans, correct. Late, correct. Smile, correct. Yay, 10 out of 10 in the listening section 1. Let's go to section 2. 11, A, correct. 12, B, correct. changed. Is it the one I changed? We're gonna go back and see. Yeah, I'll have to refresh this page. I'm sorry. Yeah, it sometimes happens with Google Docs. Okay, let me, while we're at it, let me just comment. 13A correct, 14 incorrect, 15A correct, 16B correct, 17B correct, DAE correct. Okay, cool, cool. 9 out of 10 in section 2. Not bad, not bad. Let's put it here so that we don't forget. 14 incorrect. Let's see what we have in section 3. So we have, oh, another mistake. 21. It's not B, it's A. 21A, incorrect. 22A, correct. 23C, correct. 24C, correct. 25B, correct. 26A, correct. 27, oh, Jesus, now we lost it. Okay, let's go back. Okay, now it's open. Okay, again, plus 13A plus 14 minus C. We have 15A plus 16B plus 17B plus 19D plus and plus. I hope you're counting too. It would actually be awesome if all of us would compare our answers and calculate how many we get in the end, okay? And find out our score. 21B incorrect. It's A. 22A plus 26A plus BC plus please BC EC. Damn it. It's not, it's E and D. Okay, it's E and D. Yeah, and I'm pretty confident about this one. Destruction, universities, political, port, slaves. Okay, I wanted to put slavery too. Taxation, sugar, tea, transportation, and night. Okay, we have 3 wrong answers, right? So which brings us to a total of 37 out of 40. Not too bad, not too bad. Okay, quite good. How many answers do you guys have? Can you send them to the chat? Do you feel like sharing? Would you like to share? 30 out of 40, not bad, not bad. Pretty cool, actually. Let's go back to the description of scores here. So I bet would have gotten 7 in listening, which is cool. I see your score now is 6, which is also not bad, but yeah, I'm sure it's gonna improve. What about others? Too ashamed to send? Okay, yeah, if you're feeling embarrassed, I'm not forcing you. Now, let me teach you a little bit on what you should do with your answers, how to analyze them. Okay, one way, which is recommended actually, is to go back again, because we're already out of time, right? I'm not going to show you, but I will explain you what I would have done, right? I would just go back to that question and listen again. Okay, I would read carefully, I would listen again, and I would keep listening until I understand why the answer there is C and not B. Okay, if that doesn't help, or you could also combine it with listening to the audio again. What you can do is you can go to Google and Cambridge 13 IELTS listening test for script. Let's search a script. Okay, good. We found it. Yay, look what we got. So we have answered all the answers here. So convenient. Let's search question 14. And it's long accent, though not too steep, and walkers generally take a couple of days to get to summit. Damn, I had mountains and I changed it last minute. That happens to IELTS learners all the time. Okay. Another place where I was mistaken. Also, when you check, again, I'm short of time, that's why I'm commenting it quickly, but when you check, you should also check the answers where you were hesitant. For example, if in 12 you got B correct, but you weren't sure, you have to go back to 12 and double check it, okay? Then I made a mistake in 21. Let's see, question 21. 21 Savage. I've never been really concerned enough to check how healthy a product is. We've always had to check labels. I've never, how healthy. And let me see the question again. Question was 21, right? Didn't read everything on them. You were saying it's A. You didn't think they were important. Maybe maybe I misunderstood. Happens too. 30, it's not C, it's D. Okay, yeah, right. 29 and 30, right? You get feedback from, it's good to get feedback from all socioeconomic groups, and there wasn't much variation. If they hadn't had, this one is confusing. Let's go back. Which two things are true about the participants in the study? And look, this one says it's good to get feedback from also, and there wasn't much variation. Okay, I think I misunderstood here. I thought it. I thought of it that way. I thought as if they were saying it would have been good, but it's already good. So they already came from all socioeconomic backgrounds. So again, it's on me. But for the rest, it's good. Yeah, I think it's a good result. I think the session we had today was useful for you guys. And yeah, any questions now? No questions? Anyone?
No.
Okay, fantastic. To all Dictioners watching us today, because I shared the link to the IELTS live meeting, to the YouTube with other Dictioners. To all of you watching us now, thank you very much for joining us tonight. I hope the session was useful for everyone. Yeah, we will host more IELTS live practices in the future, and yeah, keep coming and be on time. Okay, remember what we had in the interview here. Don't be late. Okay, number 9. And another thing, another cool thing I wanted to talk to you about is when you listen to section 4, isn't that interesting? I mean, when you were listening and doing the text, weren't you learning some new facts? Because I'm like, wow, cool. For example, what was the cool moment for me? Oh, the 38, yes, the question 38 was so cool because as some of you might know, I have been to States just like this December for the New Year's. And yeah, there everyone drinks coffee, right? It's like this very American thing. And this listening test gave me the answer why. Like it's so clear because C was British and Americans are like, no, we're going to have our own drink. And that's how it happened. Cool. That's what I love about section 4. You should love it too, guys. You shouldn't think of it as a stressful test, but you should think of it as a podcast. Okay. All right. Thank you very much for joining again. Enjoy the rest of your night and yeah, keep working. 7 weeks ahead. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joe. Goodbye.